Hi, this is Mark with your analysis for week commencing 24th of October. This first video is for people interested in trading from weekly charts. Last week we looked for trades at this area here, 78.6 fib, and down here at 50% fib. Now we didn't get either, and if you trade longer term charts you will find that you will have weeks where nothing happens. The good thing is that you will have missed all the carnage and mayhem from last week. For next week, the areas I would look for to trade from weekly charts would be shorts at 160 and longs at 155. And the next thing then is, where do you look for stops? Well, if you're going to short at 160, I will be looking in terms of placing my stop above the previous high, which was 161.100, so I'd go maybe to 161.20. At 161.20, I have a 100 pip stop, which will frighten some of you to death. However, we would be looking for a move down here of 300 or 400 pips, so 1 to 3, 1 to 4 risk-reward ratio. The other option is to look for a long here at the 50% fib with this weekly 55 EMA, etc. in the way as well. So these are the two areas for me. This is the Euro USD, and last week we were looking for 78.6 fib rejection and 50% bounce. Next week I will look here, and the reason is we now have a start of a trend line in place. This was obviously a strong area of previous support and resistance now, so we have a number of things going on. Price is outside the weekly Bollinger Band, and that may well close back down here or across, so I will be interested from here to short and here to long. And if I was going to long, then from a stop point of view, this 55 will probably move slightly higher up. This is the monthly 55 here, so you could go just below that or just below here. And as far as in terms of shorting from here, you'd really need to pick the next point up, which is 142.100, and there was some previous support resistance here before, so I would go to 142.20. And again, that may sound a lot, it's not in any terms, but you're looking for possible 600 pip down or 600 pip up. This is the euro pound. Last week I had suggested we look for shorts at 78.6, and this did actually work on Thursday, Friday for about 40 pips. However, price has now come up. Where's price stopped? Exactly to the pip, 78.6 pip. This is the crucial area on this pair. Now, it does look bullish, and I would wait for market open to see what happens, but the other option you may think in terms of here, you may think in terms of longing here at 88.30, because we've had a breakout followed by a pullback with a view to long. Or here, if you're thinking in terms of it's going to go back down again, 8900, and then if it does pull back down, I would look for longs here, an overall weekly long at 87, so a pullback down here, previous major support and resistance with a view to going up. This is the Aussie Dollar, and last week we were looking around here. It didn't get there, and for shorts we were looking down here. Now it did get down and pierce through. As to whether or not you had your stop in sufficient to prevent this or not, the stop really, the ideal stop would have been down here below 78.6. And again, you're going to have to get used to bigger stops, because that is the only way you can play weekly trades. The areas for this week I will be interested in is 9900, and I would have to put my stop above the 100, and I would again be looking here for possible long, so a pull back to here with a bounce up. This was a very, very messy last week. Down, up, all over the place. But those are the main areas. Ignore that 4 hour. Oh, it is still in the same place. But those are the main areas to look for. Dollar Swissy didn't get there, but that would still be my line in the sand. 99.20 would be a good area for a potential short for me. Dollar yen bounced in this tiny tram track we had here last week. Now, counter trend traders will be looking for a possible break and close above 81.77 or certainly 8200, which is, we have a trend line in place, we have previous support and resistance, and it held all week last week. So a move from here up, and then if it does get up here, a move back down at 8300. Euro yen, depending on where you had your stop last week, it could have been a winner, it could have been a loser. We were looking for a move up and a short at 114. I will still be looking in this area, and now we have multiple reasons again. We have the trend line, previous support and resistance. So I would look to short there, and I would look to long here. The place to place the stop on the short would be below last week's low, Aussie Dollar Yen, very similar scenario. We were saying to look for a long here at 79.30. It did come through, and again, dependent on your stop, whether you won or not here. I actually lost on this because it went through. But where would you place your stop if you were going to go long? You would be 70 pips away below the recent low. And in terms of a short, I would be looking here at 81.35 again because it's been huge, and I would look to place my stop above the weekly, monthly EMAs that we have up here, 80 odd pips away. And again, 80 pips risk for potential 200 pip down, at least 1 to 2. Finally, the CAD. CAD, we said last week, we were looking for a move up here to 1.0400. Didn't quite get there. Again, an area that I would be very interested in, but in the meantime, we now have another possible entry point here, previous support and resistance, and we did have this line in last week, or certainly I put it in during the week, and again, I would have my stop up above the 200 EMA and the 1.0408 area. Oh, that's it. If you're looking for weekly trades and walk away, those would be the areas I will be looking for.